Today we are going to be reading from Haftarah V'et. So V'et is the second Torah portion in Deuteronomy, but we're reading from the Haftarot. And so this reading is Isaiah 40. If anyone wants to raise a hand or draw on the screen, this is how you do it. With no further ado, let's get right into it. Who wants to read this little itty bitty verse?
Can I read it?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Okay. Nachamu, nechamu, otmi,
Ami.
ami, omer,
Yomar. Yomar.
yomar, Elohim.
Elohim. Good. Sounds like someone's. Oh, I think I know what it is. There we go. All right. Right. Nachamu, Ami, Yomar Elohechem. Nachamu. What's the root? Anybody? What's the root of Nachamu?
Het, mem, and Bob.
Well, the U at the end is part of the declension. It tells us how the word is being used. U at the end of a verb can either mean it could either mean they did something, or it could be part of a yiktol form where the top got lopped off, and that is an imperative form where we're telling you all to do something. Do what? Nun chet mem is your root. Nachem. Have you ever heard the name Menachem before? Menachem,
Yes.
like Menachem Begin is a famous name. Well, the name Menachem means something like comforter. Not like a blanket, but one who comforts, almost like a Holy Spirit comforter. I will send the Menachem. So Nahum or Nachamu means, hey, you all, comfort. Do it. Comfort whom? Me. Who are me? Well, is a people, and E said it's my people. Comfort my people. According to whom? Yomar Elohechem. This is a yiktol yod. What's the root?
Aleph, mem, Resh.
Yeah, to say. So the yiktol says he will. The root is aleph mem resh, say. He will say, or he is saying. Now here it translates it as said. Is that really accurate? Well, maybe not. Maybe the translation should be something more like God either is saying, will say, has been saying, possibly some sort of looking back into the past where God for a long time was saying something. That could be a yiktol. And then Elohechem is the word Elohim in construct with a chem on the end. What is chem?
It's masculine turtle.
Second masculine plural, referring to you guys, masculine plural. That's supposed to be there we go. So you're speaking to you all, your Elohim. Comfort my people. Your God is saying, or will be saying, something like that. Good. Thank you for reading. Who else would like to read? This is the next one. A little bit longer, but not terrible.
Can I
Okay.
read?
Yes, question. Would you like to read?
Yes.
Excellent. What can I call you? Your box says iPhone 3.
Sorry. Oh, Elton.
Elton, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thanks. uh, דברו על לב ירושלים וקראו וקראו
That's good. No, you said it right the first time. Kir'u.
or קראו, אז
נכון.
קראו אליך
Keep going. Okay.
עוונה, I think.
There was a break in the reception. I didn't hear the first part. Ki mala.
Yeah, I didn't see it, sorry.
Hmm,
מלאה צבאה
good.
כי נרצה עוונה כי לך מיד אדוני כפלאים כפלאים
Mhm.
בכל חטאותיך.
Excellent reading. The first word, how did you read it?
דברו, דברו.
Is it a bet or a bet?
It's a B, sorry. דברו.
That's all right. We're all learning here. Dabru al lev Yerushalayim. Now that really seems to me like that should be over here, and the fert of here it should be over there. Wonder if that's a font mistake or something. I don't know. Vikir'u eleha ki mal'a tzva'ah ki nirtza avonah ki lakcha miyad Adonai kiflayim b'chol chatoteha. All right, what words do you all not know in this verse? There should be a few of them. Obviously, the translation is there, but which words are you not familiar with?
Well,
Kiflayim.
Elton?
נרצה.
Okay. Any
I
other?
didn't know that. כפלאים.
Okay.
I didn't know כפלאים. I think the other ones I'm familiar, kind of.
Okay. Constantine, what did you say?
Tony, Alton.
I said Kiflaim also.
Kiflaim. Okay. Okay. Also. All right. So all the other ones we should be pretty good with. Dabru, there's another u at the end. So what does that tell us about the word?
It's a second masculine singular.
It's an imperative. Yeah. Hey, you
Imperative.
all do it. Do what? Daber. Dabru. Speak. Al
Yeah.
Yerushalayim. So al usually means about or upon, concerning. Lev Yerushalayim is the heart, or possibly even the mind, the heart or mind of Jerusalem. Vikir'u, is that also an imperative?
Mhm.
And it's from kara, to call out, and call out eleha, unto
Her.
her.
Yes.
Yeah. Ki mal'a. Okay. What is the root of mal'a?
Mela, I think.
Mala, malay, to be full.
Before, yes.
Tva'ah. Can you break that up into two parts? Tva'ah, two principal parts.
Tseva, Tseva and ah.
Exactly. And it's not seva. Seva is this word right here. Seva. What does seva mean versus sava? Two different words. Anybody?
Sava is army or
Sava
host.
is like army or host. Some sort of
Seva is color.
military power. Yeah, seva is like a color. In modern Hebrew, it's a color. I don't know if there's a different meaning in biblical.
It's a root for hypocrisy.
Haha, nice. Okay, so it's like coloring. It's actually related to the New Testament Koine Greek, which I think is like a Jewish Greek. But anyway, New Testament Koine Greek uses coloring something to change its identity. Anybody know the word baptismos or baptismo or something like that? It means to baptize, right? No, it means to immerse in a dye and change its color. It's now got a new identity. But anyway, so coloring something so that it looks different than it is a theme that you'll see a lot. I like that. Uh,
Spewt, I think I think they call it.
okay, yeah. Uh, all right, so tzava, which belongs to ah,
Her,
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 her, referring back to
Yerushalayim.
very good. How do you know that Yerushalayim is feminine?
It's a city.
So,
Most cities, Vakiru Aleha. Vakiru Aleha. That's feminine and her. So,
all right, so basically we're deducing from all of these three FS suffixes that it must be referring to Jerusalem, which must be feminine. And you're right,
but
the word ir is feminine. So if I'm talking about Ir Yerushalayim, it's feminine, even if I don't include the word Ir.
mhm.
Same goes with countries because they are either Adama or Aratzot, Eretz, and those are feminine as well. The only land that is not feminine is
Oh yeah, the
the
Vatican.
Vatican. Why is it masculine? I don't know.
Mhm.
Dabru, probably because it's something like, oh, I didn't think about that. There might be a masculine word which refers to, I don't want to say like kingdom, but district maybe. I don't know. District of the Vatican. I'll have to look into it. Okay, why are we speaking to the Lev of Jerusalem, the heart of Jerusalem, and crying unto her? He, either because or in order that, I don't know, they have the word that here. Male'ah tzva'ah. Mla'ah means she has been full, right? It's a katal verb, past tense. She has been
Uh,
filled, or she has been
um,
full.
yeah,
Not mal'ah, but mal'ah.
Mal'a.
The little thing right there is supposed to tell us. It says say it one more time here. And it's a long vowel. Mal'ah. She was full, or has been full. Sva'ah, of her army, host. Well, they translate it here as warfare. Why? Because we're about to see how she's suffering. Why else would we be comforting, and speaking to her heart? Ki nirtza avonah. What's the root of nirtza?
Ratse,
Ata.
Right,
Ratse.
right. There's one, two, and a missing yod. With that vowel on the end, we know that the root is resh tzadi. So what's the noon at the front doing?
E-ah.
Very good answer.
If I ever get a donkey, I'm going to call it Nephal, so I'll never forget that.
It's a nifal makes it passive or reciprocal or reflexive or something. Here it's passive. Something is being done to avonah, for iniquity. Well, what's being done? Ratzah means what?
Usually it means to want, but
No. Yeah, something that is wanted or desired. So here it is in the passive, for your iniquity has been accepted, or even I don't say desired, but it's like you've been accepted back in spite of your iniquity. So you can see why the translator here said, yeah, I'm not going to translate it that way.
mm,
Let's translate it differently. Let's call it pardoned. Literally, it has been wanted or desired. It's like maybe God wants her back or something. That would make sense. Avonah is referring to her, avon, iniquity. Ki lakha, what is lakha?
Take.
She has taken, literally taken. Here it says received. No, it's literally she has taken miyad Adonai from,
From
The
the
hand.
hand.
oof, what has she taken from his hand? Kiflayim. Kiflayim is from the root kuf pet lamed, kuf pe lamed, obviously. The most common word that you'll probably hear from this root is kaful or likapel. Does anyone know likapel?
To fold?
Yeah, precisely. Likapel means to fold. So if you have, if it's covering a certain area, once you fold it, it's now doubled over. Okay, so kaful, the passive participle, typically means doubled.
Don't.
Something has been doubled, whereas lichapel means to fold something over. They're related.
It's also the wings. Wings. Kaf.
Isn't that kanaf?
I think it's kaf or something like that.
Kanaf, I know kanaf
Kaf.
Wing.
is wing, or knafayim would be the dual form. Wings, knafayim. There we go. Like the wings of a bird or the wings of a uh
Angel.
okay, the wings of an angel.
Mm.
There you go. Of the seraphim and yeah, like in Ezekiel, the knafayim. Let's see. So kiflayim has a dual on it. Why? Well, it's probably coming from the root kipul, which would be a seglet, kefel. So a noun that itself is doubled. So a folding of something that is now doubled. Well, most people, most translators will just say, well, it's referring to how she's received double for her chatoteha, her sins. Like double punishment? It's like, well, what is this? What is this supposed to mean? Like she's received double consequences, or just that she's received enough? It's time to put an end to it. And so, depending on your interpretation, this is translated different ways. And maybe we're all wrong. Maybe there's a better way to translate it. Bechol chatoteha, we have ha, hers, yod of the plural, and chatot, which is feminine plural itself, from chet, sin. Any comments or questions on this verse before we move on?
What would be the singular of, for example, her,
Great question.
her sin, not her sins?
Okay,
That's
so excellent question. Let's see. It depends on if you want to call it chet or chatat. It could be either one. And I guess technically chatat is usually more like a sin offering, but it can also mean sin. So let's do both of them. There's the word chet, like this, which is actually really close to its original form. And then there's chatat. Hang on, chatat. Trying to remember if it's got a reduced vowel here, maybe chatat. I can't remember. I'm so sorry. So anyway, once we add the suffix, we would add probably chatatah. And then now I'm wondering if that would turn this into this into this. No, because of the aleph, it wouldn't. Chatatah would be her singular chatat, or chet. Boy, this is going to be hard. Because of the aleph, it would probably turn into chet, cheteha, maybe? No, chiteha. Chiteha. I don't even know that these words are attested in the Bible. If they are, I'm unfamiliar with them, but that'd be my best guess. If anyone wants to correct me, I'm all about it. Let me know. But that would be
If chatoteha wasn't pausal, would it still be the same as it is there at the end of the sentence?
I think it would still be the same because of that aleph right there.
Because of
the quiescing aleph.
uh
Chatot. I guess technically it could be. No, it has to be because of the plural yod right there. Because of the plural yod, you need either segol or tzere preceding it, or technically a kamatz. Like if it's mine, it becomes either I or in pausal ayi. So yeah, it could be segol tzere. It has to be a full vowel.
Okay.
Right.
So this word is the plural for chata. Is
It's
that correct?
Yeah, this is the plural for the word chatat. It becomes chatot.
Hmm.
Oh, well, then that answers my question. I'm so glad you asked that. That answers my question about the spelling because then that means this should be patach strong dagesh chatateha. Well, no, chatatah. There we go. So that's how it would be spelled. Thank you for mentioning that.
Hmm.
All right, who wants to read next?
I can.
Annie, thank you so much. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good verse. Oh, got a good one. Go ahead.
כל קורא במדבר פנו דרך אדוני, ישעו בערבה, מסילה לאלוהינו.
That's it. Now, does anyone recognize this verse?
Yeah.
Probably most people would. Kol kore bamidbar panu derech Adonai yashru ba'arava misila lelohenu. Voice crying in the wilderness, prepare the way for the Lord, make straight in the wilderness a highway for our God. Can we talk a little bit about how to break this up into logical segments? Do you see a good pausing or stopping place anywhere in this verse, like where you would put a natural rest or pause
After midbar.
after
Af-
midbar? Okay. I'm so glad you said that. Anywhere else? Oh, yeah, somebody made a mark right here. That's a great place to put a pause. So you can actually look at the marks surrounding a word in order to know how connected or not connected it is to the next word. Each one of them carries a certain, can't really call it address, but certain instructions on how much to pause before going on to the next word. It's kind of like punctuation, except every word in Hebrew, in biblical Hebrew, has a punctuation mark. Pretty cool. And so, since there are so many of these symbols, these cantillation or trope symbols, you basically just want to learn the most important ones first. So, here's the most important one. It ends a verse. You're definitely going to pause after that, right? Between verses. The second most important one, who put the red on it?
Confess.
Okay.
Eileen.
Yeah, Eileen did it. Yeah. And
Mhm.
it's the logical halfway point of the verse. So we can be pretty certain that according to the Masoretic scribes, there should be a full stop here and kind of a comma or something like that there. But then that's the highest tier or level of disjuncting, called disjuncting cancellation marks. But there are others that are less disjuncting, but still disjuncting nevertheless. Kind of funny to word it that way. And so here we have a few actually, that are that second tier. Okay, they're not as big as these, but they're still important enough to memorize them. So that means I what? Put a comma here, and a comma here? Let's try it. Let's read it. Kol kore, a voice calls. Bamidbar, in the wilderness. Panu derech Adonai. Like I don't want to say evacuate, but yeah, clear away a path for the Lord. Yashru ba'arava. Yashru from Yashar. What is Yashar?
Street.
Straight. Sorry, I should do
All right.
it. Straight. But Yashar is straight. So what is Yasher in the PL? Make something straight. Cause it to be. Remember, if Yashar is kind of a state of being or meaning a state of being verb, then putting it into the PL says you're making something yashar. So that's what it's saying. Yashru. Oh, yashru. Oh, hang on a second. Yeah, that's PL, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
No. My mind just hiccuped real quick because I was thinking of a Hefil patach with a missing yod, and I'm like, no, stop, back up. That doesn't work. It's PL. Te yasher or te yasheru means to make something straight, and in the imperative you drop off the tav. Yashru, make it straight. Make what? Ba arava in the Arabia, in the desert, in the wilderness. Misila, ooh, that's a
path, isn't
that's
it?
a path, which sounds like it's parallel. Let's use the word parallel to this word up here. A derech is a way. A misila is a highway. Lelohenu, for our God, is parallel with
Adonai.
Vevave, God, exactly. What is ba'arava parallel
Bamidbar.
to? Good. It's kind of like Bamidbar. What is it? It's going to be. Oh, you're answering correctly. I don't know why I'm stuttering. Yeah, it goes right there. And then Yashru goes with
Panu.
Anu. All right. I asked you all at the very beginning, where's a good place to put a comma? And Cheryl volunteered. She said, you put it right after Bamidbar. And I said, I'm so glad you said that. Now that I've pointed out the parallelism here, would you change your answer?
Midbar.
See, let me paint a picture real quick.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see.
What do you see?
Yeshua panu derech.
Okay, tell you what, we should probably just use colors, right? Yashru panu. Ba'arava bamidbar. Derech mesila. And what's a good word for, let's make it blue. Elohenu Adonai. What are the odd men out here?
The midbar, because it doesn't have a midbar and arava.
What I mean to say is, what doesn't have a parallel?
Oh, kol kore.
Okay, so we've got blah, 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 comma, blah, 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 period. Here we have parallels.
Okay,
Here,
so kol kore and yashru. Are you trying to make them parallel?
no. I purposely want you to see that this is an outlier, that it is not parallel, and this is a good place to put a comma. A voice cries.
And they have a zakef there to tell you that.
How do we usually? Well, yeah, but there's a zakef gadol over here. But just remember, that's a Masoretic understanding, which we get in like the 700s or something, over 1,000 years after the Dead Sea Scrolls, right? And how do I want to say this? How do we interpret this verse? Who is the fulfillment of this verse? The elephant?
Yochanan HaMatbil.
Right, exactly. John the Baptist. He's the one that was crying out in the desert, prepare a way for the Lord. But the Essenes interpreted it as a voice is calling. In the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord. So you get two different options. Now, I've shown you the parallelism here. Which do you think is a stronger argument? I have nothing against John the Baptist. I really don't. In fact, he probably was an Essene. But the way we interpret the verse by putting a comma after Bamidbar actually destroys part of the parallelism.
But I don't think it is. Looking at it now, it's a different thing. It's where he's calling from, and the other two are what God is going to do. or what the people are supposed to do in preparation for the Messiah.
Explain that to me in crayon eating terms.
In what terms?
Crayon eating terms.
Oh, crayon eating. Crayon eating. Okay. The Bamidbar just describes something about Kol Koreh, where that's happening.
Okay.
That is the first sort of
I was
phrase.
look, that seems like a blunt assertion. Why can't it tell you where Panu is supposed to take place instead of where the voice is calling? I'm asking for a justification for why it should be related to this instead of this.
I don't know if grammatically parallelisms have to be in the same order.
No, they don't.
Okay, so they don't. Okay.
All I mean to say is that these all have a parallel with all of these. So if you want to remove Bamidbar and hook it up to here, then what are you going to do with the Arava?
Panu derech Adonai. Okay.
It's an interesting point. Look, I don't mean to.
If you insist on parallelisms, that's the other thing. You don't necessarily have to have it parallel.
Ray Charles can see that this is parallel.
Okay, it's okay. Panu derech Adonai. So okay.
I don't really have skin in the game here. Anyone can. The point that I'm really making here is that there are multiple ways to interpret a verse depending on where those disjuncting cancellation marks are. What we're looking at is a tradition that came from the Masoretic scribes, and they said this is the right way. Well, was there ever a dissenting opinion? Apparently, because the Essenes believed that it was their duty to go into the wilderness to prepare the way of the Lord. Cool. And the Essenes are far preceding the Masoretic scribes. And so it's interesting. All I'm saying is there's multiple ways to interpret it. And I'm giving a justification through the parallelism, but yeah, we could just as easily say, well, my New Testament says this is clearly John the Baptist who's doing the act of calling in the wilderness. Okay, cool.
It's an interpretation.
It's a matter of interpretation, and that's okay. I mean, that's how we get like all these sectarian documents that preserve the interpretation of a particular Jewish sect, as opposed to that other sect, which is completely wrong, right? This is the synagogue I go to, and that's the synagogue I never go to. Okay, it's like kind of like that joke. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, you don't know what I'm talking about, do you?
Nope.
Man's on a deserted, Jewish man's on a deserted island who's there for a long, long time. Finally, he gets rescued, and he shows the people who rescued him around. He said, "This is where I live. That's where I, prepare my food. That's the synagogue I go to, and that's the one I don't go to." Because he made them both. You got to have the one you go to and the one you don't go to. All right, never mind. And it's supposed to be funny. Yeah, it's supposed to be funny. Any questions on this before we keep going? Can't win them all. Swing and a miss. All right. Who wants to read the next one?
No, it wasn't a swing and a miss.
I thought it was funny, but I didn't hear any laughs, so I just laughed to myself.
We could talk for another hour on that.
I'm still thinking about the argument. Not the argument, the discussion.
Does anyone want to read?
Yeah, I'll read.
All right, go ahead, Cheryl.
Okay. כל גיא ינסה, וכל הר וגבעה ישפלו, והיה העקוף למישור, והרכסים לבקעה.
Sounds prophetic, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Kol gei yinaseh. Why is there a strong dagesh in the Gimel?
It's not preceded by. It's not a strong dagesh.
It's not a strong dagesh. That's the correct answer. How can you tell whether a dagesh is strong?
If there's a vowel in front of it, it's going to be a weak dagesh.
Try again.
No? Just a minute. If there is no vowel in front of it, it's going to be a weak dagesh in it.
Right. So like in kol, there's no vowel before it. It's the beginning of the sentence. Or this one has a lamed There's no vowel before it. So these are weak and weak. What's the difference between, oh, and this one over here does have a vowel before it. So that one's strong. What's the difference between weak and strong dagesh? The dot in the middle.
Well, all the weak dageshes are bagad kafat letters, just those ones. And if it follows a vowel, it's a strong dagesh, which is doubling. And the weak dagesh is not doubling. It just starts a syllable or a word.
In English, we literally write a letter twice in certain places for historical reasons, right? It's immeasurable. Why do we put two M's there? Why don't we just put one M? Why do we have to put two? Because it preserves some historical or etymological truth about this word, how it comes from in, which in Latin means not, and then measurable is something you can measure. So immeasurable is hard to say. So in Latin, they turned it into immeasurable. We double it because there should be two letters there. It's just one turned into the other. So when you see a strong doubling dagesh in Hebrew, they went the other way. They said, you know what? Parchment is expensive, ink is expensive, scribes are expensive. Let's just write one letter, and you're a fluent speaker, so you'll know that it's actually supposed to be two. Then later on, the scribes came along and went, doot. They put a dot in it to say, yeah, that one's supposed to be doubled. Okay, so Latin doubled it. Hebrew said, nah, we're not going to do that. And why are certain letters doubled? Well, like I said, for some sort of historical reason, like in this word, yinase, there's a letter missing. That's why there's a strong dagesh in the noon. Anybody know what letter's missing?
You said it.
Well,
No.
the noon that you see is not missing, but the noon that should have preceded it is missing. This should have been yin,
Nase.
na, se, like that. And instead of having yin, na, se, Hebrew just said, yeah, we're not going to do that. Let's just do that. Yin, na, se. So there's a historical missing letter. Do we have any other strong dagesh dots in this verse?
That's a weak one in Yishpalu.
Right. The answer is no. This has a short vowel, silent shva, weak dagesh. Yep. Yishpalu. Kol ge yinnase. Does anybody know the absolute form of the word gay? Gai.
Right.
Gai. Or in pausal form, gai. It's the same form of the word bayit. Or in pausal form, bayit or pausal form bayit. All right, there should have been an ah sound there and a chirik there, but in I guess because of the quiescing aleph, it turned into a segol or whatever. But it's amazing how certain letters, especially gutturals, will just mess up what you expect the pattern of the word to do. Yinase, what's the root?
Nasa.
Nasa. Nasa, to lift up, carry, bear, but it's in the nifal, so it's passive, to be carried or lifted. Every valley shall be carried, lifted, borne up. Yeah, exalted. V'chol har v'giv'ah yishpalu. Ooh, do we have parallelism again? It was fun to
Yeah.
mark it last time. Let's do it again.
Mhm.
Kol ge goes with
Kol
Kol
ha.
probably
Oh,
hal
Tekiva.
v'giv'ah.
Yeah.
yeah.
And yinase goes with
Ishpalu. Ishpalu.
yishpalu. So shafal means to be lying down or low. And so it will be, we see that from the yiktol yod and yiktol u, they will be shafel. low. And I don't really like how they put the word made right there. If it's a yiktol verb, then there's no causative there. It simply will be low.
Mhm.
Every valley will be made high, and every mountain and hill will be low. V'haya he'akov. What is he?
In a definite article.
What? So what? I thought definite article was supposed to be ha, like this. What happened?
Yeah, if it's before ayin and kamatz, then it changed to tse'e, a
Mhm.
segu.
To a
Sorry.
segol. To a segol. So if there's an ayin and a kamatz, then instead of he, ha, it becomes he. Oh gosh, I don't know why I keep putting a tav. He. So it's actually a he, ein, or chet with a kamatz that's unstressed. You have to meet three criteria to make it happen. Then it will turn into he. So if you have a word like is it he or ha?
He,
No, because of the stress.
oh,
So it would be ha, probably compensatory lengthening, ha, or it could be, yeah, probably ha, What about that one?
Ahar.
What vowel do I put here?
Just petach.
Very good. I think for haha it actually does lengthen, and even though you expect it to be patah,
Huh.
it's a weirdo. Um, but as soon as you add this, now what is it?
Hey.
He harin, because now you have your hey, check. You have your kamatz, check. And the stress is now moved over here, check. Then it becomes he harin. You need all three of them. And v'haya he'akov. Does anybody know a guy whose name is related to that root? Or heard of a
Yaakov.
guy? Yaakov. Yaakov. So what is the meaning of his name? Yaakov.
He will make crooked.
Right. So Akov is let's call it an adjective. And it is not straight. It is the opposite. It is bent, crooked. It's shaped like a person's ekev. Ekev. Now you can't see it right now, but I'm pointing to my ekev way
Your
down
ankle.
here. Your heel.
Heel? Ekev is heel.
Heel.
Oh, yeah.
Heel. So you think about how someone's heel kind of goes all over the place, right? That shape or that direction is akov. It's crooked. It's not
Right.
straight.
That has to do with Yaakov, right?
So what does it have to do with Yaakov? Well, Yaakov, first off, when he comes out of the womb, he's hanging onto his brother's heel. And
Right.
apparently, it must have been an idiom of the time, a saying, a bitui, that if you grab someone's heel, you supplant them, like you're going to grab their heel and pull them up, and they fall on their face, and everybody points and laughs, right? Well, to supplant is the idea. He was the one grabbing the heel coming out of the womb, and that's supposed to be some sort of a portent to his life story, how he's going to supplant his brother Esau. And Esau even says, well, it's rightly so that he's named Yaakov. These two times he has supplanted Yaakov. He did this. He Akav did this thing to me. He supplanted me. So you can see the play on words there. Now I've talked about the root Akav. What about the pattern? Ah-oh, ah-oh. Is there any,
Tautological. No.
is there,
Uh,
is,
any,
okay, I see you guys went straight for the straight for the infinitive absolute. That's awesome, but wrong.
Yeah, I thought so.
Can you think of, let me reword the question. Can you think of any adjective that has the pattern oh? Not infinitive absolute, which in the Kal Binyan is also oh, but it's probably, how do I say this? It's probably that this one comes from, let me get this right.
And
This one
participle.
probably comes from katul, and this one probably comes from
Okay.
katal, which then turns into an O sound. Can anyone think of a word that has this pattern? Uh-oh, uh-oh. How about rachok or adom or yarok
Mhm.
or gadol? And I don't know if I can include this one. I'm pretty sure I can't. Katon probably comes from a different, wow, who taught me to read? Who taught me to write? Katon, initially it looks like the same pattern, but it's probably from, I don't know. It might be more complex than that. But anyway, the point is there are all of these adjectives that have an A-O pattern. What do they have in common? You can't do them. You
There's
simply are. You are gadol. You are gadol. You are katon or small. You are rachok or um, karov. Yeah, karov. You are close. Karov.
Mm.
You are adom. You are red. You are yarok. You are green. In fact, most of your colors follow this pattern. Kachol, shachor, afor, tzahov. What am I missing? Oh, varod, pink, sagol, no, segol, yeah, sagol, isn't it? Segula, sagol,
shachor.
shachol, exactly. So this is an adjective from a state of being root, the state of being not straight, crooked. Lemishor. So what is the pattern of the word mi? Let's start off with an easy one. What is the root?
Yashar.
So very good. Yod, Shin, Resh. And that's going to be parallel to, but opposite
Okay. Good.
to Akov. Much like it's been so far. The valley becomes exalted. The mountain becomes low. The crooked becomes straight. V'harichisim
Chasim.
levik'ah. Resh Kaf Sin. Apparently it means something like rough places.
It's actually, I looked it up. They say like it's a mountain range
Oh,
or
nice.
yeah,
Yeah, so basically
like
rough,
a bunch of bumps or
bunch of
something.
bumps. Yeah. All right, sweet. And then did you look up Bik'ah?
Yeah, I always thought that was like a valley.
Very good. Excellent. So when you're looking for a path to get from point A to point B, you can't always go straight there because maybe there's a mountain in the way, right? So instead, what you do is you choose the easier path, which is through the valley. Even though it's longer, it's easier. So you're turning rough paths into easy paths. And remember that your valleys are full of erosion, so they're nice and smooth. Generally. I mean, it sure beats having to go up and down mountains.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, my other question was if the root of this is yashar, what is the pattern of the word? Can we lop off the lamed as a
Two.
preformative as a prefix has its own meaning. So the word mishor, what pattern is that? Do we know any other words that have the same pattern? Maybe not. I'm trying to think of one. Honestly, it looks like it should be a miktal pattern. The question is, where did this O come from? Well, there is something called a Canaanite shift, where the so-called Canaanite languages, of which Hebrew is one of them, see a shift of some Kamat's vowels into an O. So whereas in Aramaic, if you want to say, like a participle, someone is doing something, it is katil. That'd be an Aramaic, capital A, I guess. That'd be Aramaic. But in Hebrew, it becomes kotel. And they both have a, original A vowel, original E vowel, original A vowel that turns into an O, original E vowel that turns into a tere. But the point is they come from the same original ka, til pattern. It's just that Aramaic preserved it better and Hebrew didn't. Or what about the Arabic salam, but Hebrew
Shalom.
shalom? Where'd that O come from? Long A. So the question is that just a Canaanite shift O, and therefore the pattern is miktal? Or can we think of any other words that have an O vowel right there? Well, you might say something like, oh, makom. That has an O vowel, right? But for a different reason. What's the reason makom has an O vowel? Because the root is kuf vav mem. So the original pattern was probably something like makwam, and that wa sound is what turned into an O. Instead of makwam, it becomes makom. It's easier to say. Anyway, so we see all of these not so good things turning into good things. Valleys are being brought up, mountains are being made low. Everything is going to change and become better. Man, it sounds messianic. Who wants to read the next verse?
That appears to follow a geographic pattern as well. So if I might, this is going to sound a little esoteric, but I'm actually drawing on the word in the previous verse, Ba'araba. So that's the desert. So this is the Sea of Galilee. The Baraba is the desert that runs down here. Jerusalem's here. But the King's Highway comes through the mountain pass, and most of Genesis and the interactions between Isaac and, or excuse me, Jacob and Esau occur in the mountains here on this side of the Galilee and the King's Highway. And the path to get there is straight. Once you get out of the mountains, it's a straight path here, and then the book of Judges happens on this path right here.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have low-lying hills, a straight path, and the mountains in it right here. It follows the narrative, is what I'm getting at. It's interesting.
Cool. I like I really like discussing the most undiscussed character in the Bible, biblical geography.
I love it. I love it.
Knowing the layout of the land and understanding that when someone's talking about a geographic location, they have in their mind all of the hills and mountains and waterways and roads between here and there. And to us, all we hear is, I'm going from point A to point B. We don't necessarily see all the intricacies like that. Thank you. All right, who would like to read the next verse? Yeah, definitely. Did you say Elton?
Yes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Um, sorry, I can't. Okay. The Nigla כבוד אדוני וראו כל בשר יחדיו כפי אדוני דיבר.
דיבר, נכון. ונגלה כבוד אדוני, וראו כל בשר יחדיו, כפי אדוני דיבר. See how I paused wherever there were those, it's the halfway point. There's a good place to pause with that thing up there. And then, of course, end of verse. And Venigla, it shall be gala, revealed. Nifal makes it passive. Wait a second. Shall be? How did this become future all of a sudden? I thought nigla was past tense or completed.
Is it a vekata?
Ah, vav on the front can flip a katal into a future or incompleted tense. And so based on the context here, we're supposed to say, this is going to yet happen. Because what? The glory of the Lord has not been revealed yet? And vera'u, and every flesh has not yet seen together the glory of the Lord? You see what's happening here? You could translate this again two different ways. Look, let me just point out the elephant in the room. Most of us here believe in Yeshua, New Testament, stuff like that, right? So maybe some of you don't. If not, you can la la la, whatever. But the ability to read this two different ways is kind of cool. The glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken. Or it could be a conjunction vav and a conjunction vav with a katal, and the glory of the Lord has been revealed, and all flesh together has seen, for the mouth of the Lord is spoken. Isn't that
Except
cool?
that all flesh has not seen. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so that's a fair point. So all I'm doing is pointing out that by looking at something in a different facet, you can actually produce multiple meanings to a single text, and that's exactly what the rabbis did throughout all the, midrashim. They would say, "Oh, no, don't read it like this, read it like that," and then you get this cool insight. Or, "No, yeah, not quite like that, but put the comma here instead of right there, and then there's this big insight." Okay, the rabbinic expression that I want to share with you is Shiv'im panim leTorah. There are 70 faces or facets to the Torah. It doesn't mean that everything goes. It means there are almost innumerable ways to look at a certain passage.
Good,
And so I'm just trying to kind of highlight that, maybe not doing a very good job, but I appreciate the feedback. I think you're absolutely right. And especially in light of New Testament, we might be looking to every knee shall bow, every tongue confess sort of a thing, where all flesh shall together see the glory of the Lord.
Yeah.
And fair enough. I like it. Kipi Adonai diber. What binyan is diber?
PL?
How do you know? Because I'm
Mm,
smart.
Yes.
What are you looking for to find a PL in the
Dagesh in the
uh-huh.
second root letter and the EA pattern.
Good. So the E is infinitely more important. Why would I not pay so much attention to the vowel? Because of
Maybe because of guttural letters.
no, actually it's actually in predictable forms like dibarti turns into a short vowel, right? Or how about dibru? It drops all the way down to a shva. So this second vowel is not very reliable, but that first one in the dagesh, absolutely. If you get the actually come to think of it, in what forms does the tsere actually show up? Only 3ms, is it?
3ms, yeah. That's how I figure it out. To put it into the root
Yeah.
and then if it's an EA, I'm thinking,
Okay. So definitely the chirik and the dagesh. And what if it's okay? So this is what's called a katal or completed tense form. What if it's in an incompleted form, which most grammars today call yiktol? Then what do you look for in a PL? If it's a yiktol, what do you look for? Here you look for a chirik in the first root letter, and you look for a dagesh in the second root letter. Who knows what's there, right? That's what you're looking for in a katal. What do you look for in a yiktol?
Wapatak.
Patach. Obviously, if it's a yiktol, there should be some kind of yiktol prefix letter, like a yod.
Mm-hmm.
Shva under the yiktol letter, a patach under the first root letter, and
the gesh.
dagesh, as long as it's not a guttural, right there. And again, this thing is all over the place. Don't trust it. And that's what you're looking for. So now that we've talked about the form of a PL, what's the meaning of a PL?
Tense.
Intense.
Like to coat? It's intense, right? Not
Like
in
Sukkot.
houses, not in houses, but intense. Gosh. Nader got it. Nader got it.
747. I'm sorry, I'm not suddenly don't know what you're talking about.
It's not in houses.
It's intense.
It's
Oh,
intense.
geez. Everybody laugh if you know what's good for
Ha ha
you.
ha. No, the other intense. So what do you mean by intense? Well, if if a kal easy binyan is a straightforward simple action, well then the PL form will be more intentional or intense or repeated. Requires more focus. I always like to say it's not usually something that you can do while walking and chewing gum. Okay, it's something that requires your full attention so you can really concentrate and do it right or something like that. So the difference between Amar speaking, gabbing with your friend, maybe originally, this is me speculating, could have been different than diber, where you're like more intently producing some sort of a, I don't know, monologue or a discussion or something like that. Well, I know that's actually not a good explanation because the original root, does anybody know the original root meaning of Dalet Bet Resh? As in Dvorah?
Beat.
A B. So what's the root mean? What does a B have to do with speaking?
It's a stinger. It's a zinger.
Here, I'll give you a hint.
Buzz, buzz,
Buzz,
buzz.
buzz. So the Dalet Bet Resh root was probably originally something like buzzing sound. And diber is more than just buzzing your vocal cords together. It's producing something intelligible from it. Is it related to the root midbar?
Davar.
It's related. Okay, so it's related to the word davar because davar is something that is discussed or spoken about. But what about the word midbar? What's the meaning of the word midbar?
In the
It's
wilderness.
desert.
Wilderness.
Wilderness. We can tell that it's a miktal pattern. It's a noun related to Dalet Bet Resh. What does the wilderness have to do with buzzing? Nothing. Nothing. There's a good possibility that one of these two roots was probably like maybe this one right here was originally Dalet Pei Resh and then turned into Dalet Bet Resh. That's a possibility. But this one up here that has to do with Midbar is related to words like a dever. Has anybody ever heard of a dever?
A plague.
Plague. In Arabic, the root davar has to do with driving cattle or driving animals forward in a wilderness area. So you can kind of see a connection between midbar and dever in the fact that you're in the wilderness, you're with a bunch of nasty, smelly animals. Meh, maybe there's a connection there. But is it related to dvorah, diber, davar? Maybe not. And this is where we get to see certain letters interchanging simply because it's easier to pronounce one way over another. What is barzel
Iron.
and what is parzel?
Parcel, I don't know.
It's the Aramaic version of iron. Yeah. What is let me see if I can come up with another one real quick. Hmm, what is shmone? Shmone or shmona?
8.
9.
Eight. 9 is tesha. And what is malcheshvan? It's a little bit more complicated. Malcheshvan. I'll give you a hint. Divide it right here. What is yareach?
The moon.
What is shavan?
The backside. In Hebrew, in modern Hebrew, it's the
Oh,
backside.
shavan.
No. That's Yashvan.
Okay, yashvan. It's the thing that you yashav on, right? Yashvan. So this is a bilabial mem. Ma. You pronounce it with two lips. Vav, which was originally a W sound, was also a bilabial.
You're
Wa.
reading,
You pronounce
you're
it with
reading my
lips.
mind.
So what you're looking at here is the moon, the eighth one. Mal is what we now today call the month of Cheshvan. It's the eighth month of the year.
Wow.
Much like
Wow.
much like in English, we'll talk about October. Why does it have an oct on the front?
8.
8. No, it's not. It's the 10th month. Well, originally the Roman calendar started in March. There was no January or February for the longest time. It's cold. Nobody's doing anything. There's no reason for you to put anything on your calendar in January and February. It started in March and ended in December. And that's why we see October 8, Novem, December, Novem means 9. And then I'm misspelling it. December comes from Deci, 10. 8, 9, 10. What about September?
7.
7.
French.
Well, no, that's Vigi. That's I think sept is wait, like septu. That's Greek. Is that Greek?
So the French came from the Greek and
Whatever. It
It's
came
over.
from, yeah, the point is it's 7, 8, 9, 10. Does that mean that we had a Sexember before that?
6.
Is there a month called Sexember, the 6th month?
Hmm.
Before the Caesar August came along? Yes. Augustus wanted a month dedicated to him, so we get August, and he wanted to have more. He didn't want to have fewer days than July, so he stole one from February and put it into August, so it had 31 days. Stupid stuff.
Is this true?
Go look it up. Maybe I'm making it all up.
No, I don't think so. You
Oh, mercy. It's amazing. Oh, you know what? While we're on the topic, what do the Romans do on Sunday?
worship the sun.
They venerate the god of the sun, right? What do they do on Monday?
The moon.
What do they do on Tuesday?
I don't know.
Tweeth. The
Well,
let me see if I can remember how it's spelled. It's either I think it's Twice like this. It's a false deity. The day dedicated to Twice or Twice. What do you do on Wednesday? If you would slow down and pronounce the word as it's spelled, Wednesday, it makes more sense that it is Wednesday.
Oh,
What do we do
Demon
on?
Day.
Yeah. Remember, Odin is the what Norse god, I think, from which the later Santa Claus figure comes. With the instead of having the two ravens on his shoulder, they or was it in the 60s or something? They turned them into elves because they're more friendly looking. But basically, it comes from Odin, the one who's all wise and knows everything. He knows if you've been naughty or nice. And you're like, whoa, that's jeez. So what about Thursday?
Thor?
Thor, the god of war, which the Romans called Mars, the planet Mars. What about Friday? Frius. That's another weird one. Frius. You have fries on that day. No, there's a false god named Frius or something like that. And then Saturday,
Nothing.
Saturn. Mm-hmm. Dang. There's a lot of paganism in their days of the week.
Why don't you change the names of the days of the week?
I know. I mean, we should just go with the Hebrew system and call it first day, second day, third
Mhm.
day, all the way up to sixth day
Yes.
Shabbat,
Yes.
right? Man,
That moon today is still on the top of the mosques. You
mhm.
know, yeah,
That's
a
because
crescent.
if I'm not mistaken, in Islam, the moon was the moon god was the primary deity. And when we
Hmm.
see things in the Psalms that say that the sun will not strike you by day nor the moon by night,
Yes, yes,
it's
yes.
probably not talking about the sun beating down on you. It's talking about
No,
the god Shemesh and the god Yereach,
yeah,
false deities that you don't have to be worried about because you have Yod He Vav He looking out for you. Psalm 121. Wow. So
yes.
that brings another topic up. Who's this guy?
Samson.
What's his name?
Shimshon,
Son.
like the sun.
The god Shemesh.
Mm.
A little Shemesh. Oh, look at him. He's so big and powerful. He's like a little Shemesh. Dang, Israelite family, you did that? He was from the tribe of Dan, right?
Right.
Yeah, Dan doesn't have a very good reputation in Israelite history, I guess. Anyway, I digress. Truth be told, it is annoying how many. I have to be careful how I say this. I love God, I really do, but it's amazing how many times a false deity's name is attributed to our Heavenly Father. Okay, I'm treading lightly here, but apparently Adon, from which Adonai comes from a false deity. Remember, God calls himself Baal in the prophets, husband. Well, it's actually more like Lord or Master. Even Yod He Vav He, the people who are supposed to know these things, these scholars and academics say that Yod He Vav, and there was no He yet because the Matir letters haven't been invented yet, is actually a Canaanite god of metallurgy. And I'm like, is nothing sacred? Well, what it actually does is this is showing us how there really is nothing original in the ancient Near East. Everybody borrowed from everybody. We know what the Bible says. The Israelites followed after the nations and worshiped false gods. I mean, are we any better? We follow after the money, after the job, after the stuff. You know, don't want to point fingers too hard, but a it's an encouraging word to me that how can I say this that we can still praise God even though we are not really maybe even understanding the things that we're telling him. If we borrow something from paganism and say we're going to dedicate this to God, it's like, well, you're doing that in ignorance. But God is like, oh, look at the ignorant little child down there trying to show his love for me. Isn't that sweet? Dang, we serve an awesome God.
And it makes you wonder which came first. Like, obviously, before anything was created, there was the Lord, God, and he had a name. And the enemy always, well, I think that he only tries to imitate or copy that which is good.
Or pervert that which is good,
Right.
maybe. Yeah, absolutely. And I could go on for a long time with that. I'm going to go ahead and move on. Any
Yeah,
questions on? Yes.
one more thing. Since you brought up bilabials,
Okay, bilabials.
on that first word, um, so if I could only think of one word, bana. So if we yeah, so if and we built,
Uh-huh.
um, so one CS tav yod.
So close. So the hey right here only shows up on the end of a word as a mater. When you have a full suffix, like a katal suffix right there, the original yod comes back. And that yod affects this vowel and it becomes banita or baniti. And there would be no weak dagesh because of the yod. So it would actually be baniti, like this. And then as soon as you add the vav in front of it, it's bilabial. So it affects the vav and turns it into woo, which was probably originally wa, or wa, wavanit, or wava, wow, that's hard to say, wavaniti, which ultimately becomes uvaniti.
Oh, and I built. And
And
I built.
right, but if it's a vekatal vav, then it would be and I will build, and the stress would move to here. So you have two options depending on where the stress goes. If it's here and I built, and if the stress is here, it becomes you can add the and optionally, and I will build, and it becomes a vekatal, which flips the tense.
Mhm.
Okay, so not everyone's in the dark here. So the bilabial, Jared and I spoke about this last week. So it originally was this schwa without this guy, but it precedes this bet or bet rather.
Uh-huh.
So is it bet
Well,
or
okay,
just
so there we have to talk a little bit too. So the original letter is b, which we would call a B sound. And under the influence of Aramaic, after a vowel, it becomes v. I'm literally buzzing my lips. V, v, v. Which then over time, after you get your teeth involved, becomes v. So this is a bilabial. This is a bilabial. This is technically a, what do they call it? A labiodental, where you get your teeth involved. But
okay.
originally it was a bilabial, and vav was originally, I want to say it was probably originally either a short vowel or long vowel here, probably short vowel. And it was a wah sound. That's bilabial. This is bilabial. The interaction of the two is what preserves wah as ooh, 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 uvaniti. So a lot of things changed since then, but the original reasoning for it is that you have an interaction of bilabials. You have letters that are pronounced with the teeth. Those letters are these four.
Bet and
Bet, vav, mem, pe, are the so-called
okay.
bump letters. B, v, originally wa, ma, and pa, bilabials. And
Okay.
all right, any other comments, questions? All right, who wants to read next? Tuesday, you want to read?
Are you talking to me?
No, I'm asking if Tuesday wants to read. I don't know if she's
Oh,
there.
Tuesday.
She's being all quiet over there.
I'm here.
You want to read? You don't have to, but you can if you want.
Kol Omer Kira. Ve'amar ma ek- ekra kol habasar hatzir v'chol hasdo kitzitz hasadeh.
Very good. This is another place where I'd wonder where the I guess where the pause should be. Kol omer kra, what? Or kol omer kra. Did the Masoretes get this wrong? Is it the voice that is saying, cry out, you all? Or, how else can we understand this? Omer is a participle. So a calling voice and then imperative? I don't know. That doesn't sit well with me. It seems like there should be a pause right there. A cry, a saying voice gives an imperative. Cry. I don't know. Va'amar ma ekra. And he said or will say, ma ekra. What shall I cry? Okay, a voice says, call. And he said, what should I call? What should I cry out? Kol habasar chatzir. What is a chatzir?
Yard or courtyard.
Courtyard, the place where the place surrounding your house that isn't in part of the interior. Ultimately, it comes to mean lawn, but
Yeah.
biblical times, it's your courtyard, your protected space where you go have your meals outside. And so, chatzir is related to that area. It's the vegetation that grows up there. Kol basar, all flesh, chatzir, supply, the verb is grass. V'chol
And
chatzir,
sorry, is it harvest? Is chatzir used for harvest? Oh, katzir. Thank you.
katzir, or katzal is the action, and
Harvesting.
having to do with short, you're shortening something. And katzir is the harvest. And
Thanks.
v'chol chasdo, what's the absolute form of hasd?
Hesed.
Chesed, right. That's a later artificial form. The original form is hasd, but then chesed is easier to pronounce. Chesed. I wrote that wrong. I can't believe I did that. So dyslexic. Chesed. What is had? Oh, I'm thinking of hadas. Hadas. That's a flower, right?
Myrtle.
Hadas, or is it a tree? No, it's a tree.
The myrtle.
Myrtle. Yeah, it's a good smelling tree. And no, chesed is the absolute form. Hasdo is his chesed, and all of his covenant loyalty. Katzitz hasadeh. Whose covenant loyalty? What is the O referring to?
Yes.
Yeah, referring to whom?
To God,
God.
God's covenant loyalty is like the flower of the field that fades?
God, man's.
Damn. It's
Yeah.
probably referring back to Kol
Sa-
Basar, and his loyalty is like the flower of the field. It's here one moment and then it's gone. What an indictment. Does anyone know the word tzitzit?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is that?
And
What are tzitzit?
It's what you wear, what a guy wears for
tassels.
Yeah, Moses.
Gershal.
Yeah, Moses said that on your four corners you should have tzitzit, so that when you tzitz, when you glance at them,
Ah,
you remember the commandments of the Lord. It's like the original "What would Jesus do" bracelet, except it's actually biblical. And you look at it and go, commandments of the Lord, do what's right. And but here it's talking about something that appears, kind of like glancing at something. See, let's see, is it letzitz? Yeah, I think it's letzitz or lehatzitz, to glance at something. comes from this root. It's like something that's there, bright, shocking, something that draws your attention. And hasadeh, the pretty thing in the middle of the field. Sure, it looks pretty, but it's just temporary. Yikes. Comments, questions?
Yeah, quick question.
Yeah.
The uh habasar, is that strong dagesh in okay, this is the reason I'm asking the question. Genesis 2:23, u uvashar. So there's no dagesh in the bet here. Is that a strong dagesh indicating some kind of grammatical thing? Or are we
Oh,
actually
absolutely. Yeah.
pronouncing?
No, it's definitely a grammatical thing. It's got the hey, patach, dagesh. All of those operate as a unit. Those three things together are the definite article. If I can sprinkle a little bit of speculation here, it's possible that this was originally a particle like hal, related to the Arabic al, possibly. But the point is, there was a letter there that went missing through assimilation and shows up as strong dagesh. So that's part of the structure of the definite article, yes. Whereas in the word uvasal, you don't need a dagesh there because Vav doesn't have a, be careful how I say this. There isn't an assimilating letter in uvasal, so it doesn't need it.
Interesting.
Oh, and what's interesting though is how that dagesh interacts with words that start with a letter that don't take dagesh, and that's what Annie and I were talking about a little bit, but we really didn't go into full detail. What are the gutturals? What are the guttural letters? Anyone?
Aleph, Ayin, Hey,
Okay. Chet,
And
Resh.
so resh behaves like a guttural
resh.
sometimes. When it comes to the definite article, resh is included. When it comes to what am I looking for? Oh, when it comes to like you know how yiktol verbs can sometimes be yiktal, and if the second or third root letter is a guttural, it turns into yiktal. Think of words like yishma. It's not yishmoa, it's yishma, and it means he will shema, hear, listen, heed, hearken, obey. And it's yishma instead of yishmoa because of the guttural, right? In this case, resh doesn't count. Look at this word, yishmor. Wait, I thought resh was a guttural. It's not. It just behaves sometimes like a guttural. And definite article is one of those cases where it does. And so if we try to put a definite article in front of aleph, what happens? We put our patach, we put our dagesh. The aleph says, no, thank you, I'm vegan. And so you have to compensate by getting him a special meal. You compensatorily lengthen the preceding vowel. That's what happens with aleph, ain, and resh.
So in the PL group, is resh not considered a guttural, or is it considered a guttural?
Can you think of a PL verb that has a resh in the middle?
No,
Yes, you can.
I can. Berech.
Pray. Blessing, rather.
Here, let me give you a hint. See my shirt? Yivarechecha Hashem mitzion. Yivarechecha, right? So
Yivarechecha.
berech is the katal PL form. Is there a dagesh? No.
No.
Instead, it compensatorily lengthens the preceding
So
vowel.
it is considered a guttural.
In
Yes.
the PL, so resh does not take a dagesh. Over here, we're talking about a pattern. Over here, we're talking about dagesh. So in that sense, you could make an axiom. You could say that anytime dagesh is involved, resh is a part of the clan. So what about hey and chet? Well, those will do what's called virtual doubling. They won't actually double because you can't give them a. Oh, this is fun. I was reading something recently that was I don't know. Like I tell my students, I'm a nerd. I find stuff like this fun to read. It turns out that hey and chet were actually doubled, geminated at a certain time in ancient biblical history, but it was eventually lost. So when we get words like ha har or he, I don't know what, no, let me think of a different one. He, ha, hamon, he, ha, ho, ha, I can't think of a good word. Give me some words that start with a hey. Hem, hem. Okay, let's just say hahem. Okay, there should be a dagesh right here. Hahem. Wow, it's a lot of breath. And eventually, biblical Hebrew just didn't want to do that anymore, so it left out the dagesh, but it left the vowel the way it was. Same thing with chet. I don't know. Chochma. Oops. Come on, Katan. Chochma. Ha. Chochma. Probably because this was geminated at some point, and it was abandoned after a certain point. So we stopped geminating, alepphs and eins and reshes first, and then and then we abandoned doubling the hey and chet later on, and that's the disparity between ha versus ha. Anyway, it was an interesting read. Maybe I'm not doing justice to the topic. And then remember that the third option was he if you have your hey het ayin with a kamatz that isn't stressed, blah blah blah, that Annie and I were talking about earlier. All right. Wow. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. I have to go hang out with my family and have fun and have dinner. Mm.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Tell your friends about this, invite if you find this edifying and helpful and even fun, then come back and invite your friends too. We'll be here next week, same place, same time. The next reading. What comes after Vetchanan?
Isaiah 49:14 through 51:3.
Isaiah 49.
14.
So it's Haftarat Ekev. You know how we spent some time talking about Akev and Ekev and Akov? So the next parasha is Ekev. Great. You said Isaiah 49. Sounds good to me. I'll trust you. All right, guys. I gotta go. You guys are awesome. Keep up the good work. Study Hebrew, and see you all next week. Lehitraot v'shalom.
Jared, I'm sending you a private message here in the next half hour.
I'll get it by tomorrow morning.
Okay, good.
All right. See you guys. Bye.
Shalom.
Bye.